This presentation was produced with the cooperation of the Salina, Kansas Police Department. All of the persons shown in this videotape are actors, most of them from the Salina, Kansas Community Theater and their families. Can you tell me what this little girl is going to do wrong? She's on her way to school and is waiting for several friends a little distance behind when a stranger stops and asks where the school is.
Can you tell me where the school is?
She's been told by her parents and her teachers never to talk to strangers. But he's such a nice-looking man, and she's seen her parents tell strangers where places are, so what do you think she does? She walks right up beside the open car door, and watch what happens.
Tell me where the school is? Where?
This little girl will never be seen again, no matter how much her parents cry for her, and no matter how much her friends wish she were back, she won't be. And thousands of others like her won't be, because they forgot what they've been told. Never talk to people you don't know. But wait a minute. How about her friends? They were coming down the sidewalk and saw what happened. Maybe they could help get her back. Maybe they'll be able to tell the policeman something that will help.
It'll be quiet in here, and we won't be disturbed. I know you're upset over what happened. Well, we all are. It's not easy to have a friend taken right in front of your eyes. Particularly for Bea, to have her sister. And I know another policeman has already asked you some questions, individually. But sometimes when you talk as a group, and while we're talking, something might be said that will remind somebody else of something that happened, and maybe we can put it together and get Mary back. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Can you tell me what happened?
There's not really much to tell.
We were walking to school, and she was waiting for us. And this car pulled up, and
he just asked her a question, and she couldn't hear, so she went closer. And he opened the door, pulled her in, and drove off.
Is she really gone for good?
Well, we're certainly going to try everything we can to get her back. That's why we're hoping that you can remember something that could help us. Like, for instance, can you remember what kind of car it was?
The other policeman asked me that too, but I don't know.
all I could see was her being pulled into that car.
I don't know about kinds of cars.
Well, have you ever seen that car before? Is it like any car that you know? Maybe one in your neighborhood. Can you remember how many doors it had? Did it have 2 doors, 4 doors? How about a 5th door in the back, like a station wagon? Or how about a truck or a van?
It wasn't a van. We have a van and it wasn't like ours. But maybe it was a station wagon.
No, it wasn't a station wagon. It only had 2 doors.
No, I think it had 4 doors.
What color was it?
Red. I think it was red. Maybe.
I thought it was brown.
It was green.
Did you notice anything in the back window? A toy or a sticker or one of those yellow signs maybe? Or bumper sticker. Did you see a bumper sticker and something that you remember? Okay, how about the driver? Did you see if it was a man or a woman?
It was a man.
Good. Okay, now what did he look like?
He looked old to me.
No, he wasn't. He was young and had long hair.
He had short hair.
Did you happen to notice the license plate? Any numbers or letters on it that you remember?
I didn't think to look.
Me neither.
I don't know.
I can understand that it's hard to remember when something really scary happens so fast. And I know you'd like to help get Mary back.
Sure would.
Yes, yes.
But unless you've practiced something like this, it's pretty hard.
Mary's friends certainly wished they could have helped her a lot more, didn't they? But now, how about you? Do you think you could have helped if you had been there? For instance, would you have yelled at her to stay away, to get away from the car? And could you have told the police about the car and the driver? You've seen it twice now. The car, the driver, and even a close-up of the license plate. Now it's time to stop the tape and see how well you can do at remembering correctly, so you can help your friends if they ever need help. You've had a chance now to say what you think the car and the driver looked like and what the license number was. Now we'll show the whole scene over again, and you can see how close you came.
Hey, little girl, can you tell me where the school is?
What?
Can you tell me where the school is? Junior, where's the school?
Help! Help!
Did you get it all? The car, the driver, the license number? The license number is particularly important. Even if you can get just the last 3 numbers and the number of doors on the car, the police can get their computer to work on it fast and maybe get Mary back before the stranger hurts her. To help you remember the license number, most states are using 3 letters and 3 numbers on their license plates now, and that does make it easier to remember. Usually the letters are first on the plate, and it'll help you remember them if you notice when they form a word, as this one does, or when they almost form a word, such as this one. Another idea is to think of the letters like initials and make up words that fit those initials. With SWD, for example, you might think of see worms dance, or see white dress, or sausage with dressing. You can help yourself remember the numbers on the license plate by noticing whether the numbers go up, such as 268 does, with each number larger than the one before, or whether they go down, like 974, with each number smaller than the one before, or whether, as on 585, there's a repeating pattern to the numbers. And it would certainly help if, when you're riding in the car, you would practice reading and remembering license plate numbers with your mom or dad or someone else in the car, and practice noticing how many doors there are on the cars you see. And just to make sure we all understand about the number of doors on a car, here's a 2-door car with 1 door on each side. Here's a 4-door car with 2 doors on each side. Here's a station wagon with a 5th door at the back where you can get in. Here's a van with a door on each side in front and another door or doors on the side for loading. And a minivan. Here's a pickup truck with space in back and sometimes a topper to cover that space. Okay. Do you think you can all get the last 3 numbers of the license this time, and the number of doors in the car, and maybe the color of the car, or whether it's new and clean, or old and banged up? Did you do better this time? As most of you know, the last 3 numbers of the license were 482. And some of you may have gotten the letters too, K-R-Y. It was a 4-door station wagon, and the color was blue. Some of you may even have noticed that the car looked like one in your neighborhood, and that would have helped the police also. Now let's try a different license plate and a different car, and see how well you do. Did you do better this time? Here it is again, so you can check yourself. Of course, once you get the license number, you need to remember it. Write it down if you possibly can. On some school papers, if you have a paper and pencil with you. Or pick up a rock and scratch the letters and numbers on the sidewalk or in the dirt so you can show it to a policeman later. Some states have letters and numbers mixed together on their license plates, something like this. These are a little harder, but if you concentrate on the last 4 digits, you should be able to remember them. Here's a license plate to try, and don't forget the number of doors and the condition of the car. Okay, now it's time to pause the tape and discuss it and see how many of you got it right. Now let's go over what we've learned. First, stay away from strangers, people you don't know. If a man or woman you don't know tries to talk to you, or offers you candy, or asks for help in finding a dog, or anything like that, then yell "No" as loud as you can, and run away. And tell your mother or dad or a teacher as soon as you can. Second, yell at your friends to stay away from strangers, whether or not the stranger is in a car.
Hey, kid! Yeah? You coming ready to get in the car? No, Sean! You tell me how to get in the car. What? No, Sean! No! Go back!
Third, if the stranger is in a car, get the license number and the number of doors on the car so the police can catch him or her. Do you think you can remember all 3 of these? We'll stop the tape now and see how many you can remember. Last time, you'll remember, we learned to stay away from strangers, both men and women, and yell at our friends to stay away from strangers. And if the stranger is in a car, we learned to get the license number and the number of doors on the car. Some of you did pretty well on the license numbers last time. So let's see how well you do today at remembering a license number and the number of doors on a car. Ready? Here it comes. Did you get them? Let's see if you can remember the license number and the number of doors on the car. Let's stop the tape now and find out. I'll bet you all did a lot better than you did the other time, right? That's wonderful. But there is one problem. What if the stranger isn't in a car and you can't get a license number? How can you help your friend? Look at this scene, for example, and see if you can tell how to help young Bobby.
Oh, I've got this bird over here on the ground. I found him a few minutes ago and he fell out of his nest. And I want to try to get it back up, but I can't reach the nest. I was wondering if you could climb up the tree and put it back up there, and maybe the mommy bird will take it back. Want to help me put it back up there? It won't take long. Come on over here. The bird's over here by the tree.
It's a trick, Bobby. Don't go. Don't go. Bobby's gone now, and he may not come back unless you can help him. What can you do? That's right. You can tell an adult you know exactly where the stranger took Bobby, and you can remember exactly what the stranger looked like. To help you practice, we'll let you watch the stranger while a policeman tells you the things he'd need to know about the stranger in order to get Bobby back.
The thing I'd like to have you think about first is how to remember how tall the stranger is. Maybe you can notice where his head comes to on the bush. Or maybe you can think of someone you know who's about that tall. Maybe you can also think of someone else who's about as old as the stranger, and another person who's about as heavy. Then think how you draw his head from the side, showing skin color, whether he has a beard, a mustache, glasses, long hair or short hair, or a bald head. Does he have a scar, or a tattoo, or another unusual mark? Did he talk fast or slow? What did he say?
Now we'll stop the tape so you can tell what the stranger looked like, how he talked, and what he said. Now, we'll show you the stranger again, and you can see how much you remembered.
Oh, I've got this bird over here on the ground. I found him a few minutes ago, and he fell out of his nest. And I want to try to get it back up, but I can't reach the nest.
Did you notice how close his head was to the top of the bush? Did he have a scar or a tattoo? If so, where was it? Were you able to draw what his beard looked like? How did he talk? What did he say? Okay, now let's see how much you can remember about another person and another child. Watch and listen closely.
Hi, Sarah.
Mother, what are you doing here?
I'll tell you all about it on the way.
Well, okay, I guess.
This was different, wasn't it? First, it was a woman instead of a man. And second, something was said which shows that it's important for you to remember what was said, as well as what the person looked like. Maybe some of your friends have a daddy or a mommy who doesn't live with them, may even live a long way off. And a few of those long way off mommies or daddies may want to see their boy or girl so badly that they may take their child with them when they're not supposed to. So if you can remember exactly what was said, you may save your friend's family a lot of worrying. So we'll stop the tape now and see how much you can remember about what the woman looked like and about what was said. You've had a chance to discuss what the person looked like and what was said. Now we'll show you again what happened, and you can see how well you remembered.
She has to stop, and Trevor has to...
Hi, Sarah.
Mother, what are you doing here?
I'll tell you all about it on the way.
Well, okay, I guess.
Let's talk first about what the person looked like. Did you find a way to remember how tall she was? How did you remember how old she was? Could you draw the shape of her face? Did she have a scar or any other unusual mark? What was the color of her skin? Was there anything else that would help someone to identify her? Now, let's talk about what was said. Can you remember what the child said? Can you remember what the woman said? What was the most important word that the child said? That's right, the word mother. You'd want to be sure to remember that. And you'll always want to remember where the person went. In this case, which way did the auto go? What was the license number? What kind of vehicle was it? What color was it? This kind of remembering is an important part of what we've learned thus far. We've learned 4 important things. 1. Stay away from strangers. 2. Yell at your friends to stay away from strangers. If there's a car, get the license number and the number of doors on the car. 4. Remember what the stranger looked like and how he or she talked, what was said, and where the stranger went. Can you tell your discussion leader all 4 of these? Let's see if you can. And in our next session, we'll see if you still remember all 4. Can you remember what the 4 things were that we talked about at the end of the last session? 1. Stay away from strangers, from people you don't know, whether men or women, whether in a car or not. 2. Yell at your friends to stay away from strangers. 3. Get the license number and the number of doors on the car. 4. Remember what the stranger looked like and how he or she talked, what was said, and where the stranger went. These 4 things may save one of your friends someday, may keep one of your friends from being taken away by a stranger. That's why it's so important to remember all 4 of these, and practice remembering license numbers, and practice remembering what strangers look like and how they talk. By doing this, you may also be able to help the police catch a thief or robber sometime, and they'll certainly appreciate that.
Yes, we certainly would.
There's another way, too, in which you may be able to help your friends. It's a little harder, though, and maybe it's even more important. It has something to do with secrets, and also something to do with courage. Now, many children like secrets. They like to whisper a secret to a best friend and then tease the other kids because they don't know the secret.
We know something you don't know.
But what we're talking about isn't that kind of secret. It's the kind of secret that makes you scared, makes you wish you had never heard that darn secret, ever. It's the kind of secret that your best friend might tell you, because that friend is scared and worried and feels like they just have to tell someone. And that's where the courage comes in, because you'll need courage to help your friend. Help your friend? In what way? Well, it has something to do with touching. Touching is a wonderful thing when it's good touching. We all like to have our mother or father put a hand on our shoulder or hug us because that shows they love us. And we all need to feel loved. And we like to play clap hands with a friend because it's fun to touch in this way. And we even like to sit very close to someone we like very much because it makes us feel nice and cozy and warm inside. All of these are good touching. And they are very important to make us feel loved and to feel close to our friends. Most adults and most children use good touching, and that's wonderful. But there's also bad touching, and that's where secrets and courage start to come in. You see, a few people who are older than you are sometimes want to do bad touching, want to touch a child's private parts, those parts of the body that are under a bathing suit. Those older persons aren't supposed to do bad touching. They aren't supposed to touch a child's private parts at all. But one of these people may want to do this to your friend. This person who wants to do bad touching might not be a stranger. It might be someone your friend knows well, maybe even a relative, or maybe a friend of someone in the family, or maybe even a babysitter. And if this happens to one of your friends, that person who does the bad touching will want your friend to keep it a secret, and may even promise to buy your friend something he or she really wants. Or that person may say they'll hurt your friend, or hurt someone your friend loves, if your friend doesn't keep the bad touching a secret. And that's where you can help a friend. You can remind your friend that just because someone is older, that someone doesn't have the right to touch your friend's private parts. Someone older doesn't have the right to ask your friend or try to make your friend keep bad touching a secret. If one of your friends has a problem because someone older has done bad touching or wants your friend to keep something secret, you can help your friend have the courage to tell a teacher or some other adult that he or she can trust. Sometimes a friend may have difficulty telling because they think that somehow it's their fault or somehow they're bad because it happened. You can help your friend by making sure they understand that it's not their fault and they're not bad because it happened. You can remind them that the person who wants to do bad touching and wants to keep bad touching a secret, that person has a big problem and needs help. And the only way that person can get the help is if your friend tells a teacher or another adult who can be trusted. You can help that friend by going with him or her. Or if your friend can't be brave enough, you can do it. And you can also help your friends by reminding them that good touching is a wonderful way to show that you like someone. And when their parents put an arm around their shoulders or hug them, to be glad, because that shows their parents love them. Now let's see if you can remember how you can help a friend who has a problem with someone trying to do bad touching. We'll pause the tape now and see if you can remember. Did you remember everything? First, no bad touching. You can remind your friend that no one has the right to do bad touching. No one has the right to touch your friend's private parts. Second, no secrets. No one has the right to ask your friend to keep bad touching a secret, or to try to make your friend keep bad touching a secret. Third, it isn't your friend's fault, and your friend isn't bad because bad touching happened. The person who wants to do bad touching has a problem and needs help. Fourth, help with courage. You can help your friend have the courage to tell a teacher or a counselor or another adult. Maybe that means going with the friend to a teacher or helping the friend get up the courage to go. And did you remember the fifth one? Good touching is wonderful because it shows that your parents love you. And don't forget what we've learned about remembering car licenses and remembering how to describe people. As a matter of fact, can you remember all of the things that we've talked about on this videotape? What's the first one? That's right. Stay away from people you don't know. Second, yes, yell at your friends to stay away from strangers.
No, Joe, no, go back!
And if someone is taken by a stranger in a car, what do? That's right. Get the license number and the number of doors on the car. If someone is taken by a stranger not in a car, what do? That's right. Remember where the stranger went. And remember what the stranger looked like. Height, size, hair, age, unusual marks. And remember how the stranger talked and what he or she said. Those are the 4 things to remember about someone you don't know. Now, what are the 2 points to remember about someone you do know? That's right. No bad touching, no secrets. Very good. I'm proud of you. You've learned well. I hope that something like this never happens to one of your friends, or to you. But if it does, you'll know what to do. By the way, can you remember this license number and this vehicle? Last time we talked about the 4 things you need to remember about someone you don't know, and the 2 things you should remember about someone you do know. Can you remember all 6 of them? First, the 4 things about someone you don't know. 1. Stay away from people you don't know. 2. Yell at your friends to stay away from strangers. 3. If someone is taken by a stranger in a car, what do? That's it. Write down the license number and the number of doors on the car. 4. If someone is taken by a stranger not in a car, what do? Remember where the stranger went, and remember what the stranger looked like, and remember how the stranger talked and what he said. Good, good. Now, what are the 2 things to remember about someone you do know? 1. No bad touching. 2. No secrets. Very good. You've learned well. Now, there's another kind of problem that your friend may run into, and it also may have something to do with secrets and with courage. One day, as you're walking to school, for example, you may notice that a friend has a bruise on an arm or leg or even on the face. And when you ask about it, your friend doesn't want to tell you what happened. Now, of course, it may be that your friend is keeping it a secret because it was a silly accident, and they don't like to admit to doing something silly, especially when they got hurt doing it. But sometimes, just sometimes, it might be another kind of secret. The kind of secret that's almost as scary as the bad touching kind of secret. You see, sometimes a mommy or a daddy or a stepmother or a stepfather or a babysitter may get very angry. Maybe because your friend was doing something he or she wasn't supposed to. Or maybe because your friend wouldn't stop doing something he or she wasn't supposed to do. And maybe the mommy or the daddy or stepmother or stepfather or sitter got so angry about it that they hit your friend. Now, probably they didn't really mean to hit your friend or to hurt your friend, but they just got so angry they did something they didn't mean to. Maybe you've seen this happen when kids were playing. Maybe one of them got so angry they did something they didn't mean to do. Or maybe you've gotten so angry sometime that you've done something you didn't mean to do, or said something you didn't mean to say. We've all done that, and we've been sorry afterward that we did it. And most of the mommies or daddies, or stepmothers or stepfathers or sitters who hurt a child are sorry and don't do it again. But a few of them may do it more than once, and it may be that your friend has a mommy or daddy or step-parent or sitter who can't stop when they get angry, and may hurt your friend bad enough to put bruises or black marks on them. If something like that happens, you can help your friend have the courage to talk to a teacher about it or another adult you can trust, so the mommy or daddy or whoever's doing it can get help through something that's called counseling and won't hurt your friend anymore. Of course, you can help your friend the most if you help him or her tell exactly what happened. Sometimes a friend may get excited and say some things that aren't really so, and you can help by reminding your friend that it isn't fair to say things that aren't true. Okay now, can you remember everything we've talked about? We'll stop the tape now and see. You've had a chance now to talk about what you heard today on this videotape, and so you should remember 5 things. 1. All of us get angry sometimes, and maybe do or say things we didn't mean to. 2. All of us should try to keep from making other people angry, especially mommies, daddies, or sitters who take care of us. That means we shouldn't do things we know we aren't supposed to do, and we especially shouldn't keep on doing those things when we're told not to. 3. If one of your friends has someone who hurts him or her, you can help that friend talk to a teacher about it, or to another adult you can trust. Or maybe you and your friend can talk to your own mother or father. 4. You can help your friend remember to tell the exact truth, because it isn't fair to say things that aren't so. 5. Mommies and daddies love their children, and you can remind your friend to hug their parents when they do something nice for them, and say thank you. And also, don't forget the 4 things you need to remember about someone you don't know. Here's the special numbers to help you remember. So let's all say each one out loud. What is 1? Louder now. What is 2? 3? 4? 2 things to remember about someone you do know. 1, 2, and oh yes, can you remember this license number and this vehicle? We thought you might like to know what some of the results might be when friends help each other.
Man, I still can't believe I walked right up to that stranger's car that day.
It sure surprised me. You're usually pretty careful about things like that.
I know, but Thanks for yelling at me.
That's what friends are for. But don't do it again.
You can bet I won't.
Thanks a lot for going with me to see the teacher. I was really scared to go by myself.
Oh, that's all right.
I'm sure glad we went, 'cause he got some counseling, and he doesn't do it anymore.
That's good. Real good.
You know, sometimes I get in my mind that maybe I caused him to touch me like that.
No, it wasn't your fault he did that.
Well, I kind of know that, but I still feel bad about it.
The bad feeling will go away, and you're still my very best friend.
You know, my mom and I have been trying to work on things ever since I told about being hit.
Yeah, my dad and I are trying to straighten out things too.
My mom and I worked it out. So I clean up my room and help with the dog. And she plays catch with me and helps with my reading. We've even started to laugh and hug sometimes.
Yeah, my dad and I are doing that too.
It's sure nicer at home since my mom isn't always yelling and hitting. And I'm not always scared of her.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's nicer at my place too.
You know, at first I thought license numbers would be hard to remember, but I'm getting better at it all the time.
Of course you are. Besides, I think we're lots better than the boys are.
I think so too now, but I sure do hope my brain works if I ever do need to remember.
Of course it will. We've practiced, haven't we?
Yes, and I sure don't feel so darned helpless anymore.
Me neither. Oh, there comes a car. Let's play that car ID game. The letters are C, R, S, and the numbers are 4, 7, 5. 4 doors, yellow color.